ultimate gladiator, because of force and will to finish a fight no matter what, even if every limb in his body is broken. Why? Because he was bred to fight. Pit bulls are the #1 choice for anyone interested in dogfighting. Over hundreds of years, they went through many generations of selective breeding to produce the most powerful fighter of any dog breed. Even though dogfighting is illegal, many people are still allowed to own pit bulls, and a high number of households do just that. I'm here today to explain and try to convince you that pit bulls are harmful, no matter how and where they were raised. Now I'm going to go back and talk further about the history of pit bulls. I will share with you more about how the pit bull evolved through time. Earlier versions of the dogfighting used bulldogs because of their powerful jaw. Another sport that arose after the first version of dogfighting was banned was ratting. It involved a bunch of rats, and the bulldog had to try to kill as many rats as he could in a small amount of time. Power alone wasn't enough for the owners, so they crossbreeded a bulldog with a terrier, because the terrier had a lot of agility with it. And what this did was produce our common pit bull terrier. Like I mentioned before, pit bulls were literally bred for blood sports. Do note that I'm not saying that pit bulls come out of the womb ready to kill. I'm trying to say that a pit bull is a very powerful breed of dog that can cause some serious damage when attacked. I know some of you are probably yelling in your minds that that's all about how the dog is raised, and that a well-raised pit bull will never harm anyone. That might be true to some extent, but I'd like to retort with that the fact that animals can snap. What happens when your well-raised pit bull snaps and attacks another animal or human? Do all your love, treats, social interactions at the park remove that massive power and agility that comes with every pit bull? No. Now I bet you're trying to tell me that a well-trained pit bull will never snap in the first place. Well, you can't tell the future. Even though your well-trained pit bull is the best, you train them to the best of your ability, there's always going to be a trigger. WhatAPity.org is a site that's dedicated to prove to people like me that argue that pit bulls aren't dangerous, that they're wrong. So here's what I got off of their website. If any breed of dog turns or snaps and attacks a human, there's something wrong with that dog. Either the dog's in pain, or there's an underlying medical problem. Usually if a dog of any breed attacks a human that they know well, the dog does so out of lack of respect, in which case there's been previous warnings that were ignored, such as guarding food or objects. While looking at that, the first point I want to make is that they actually do acknowledge the dog's attack. And there's no breed of dog they know that hasn't attacked a human. The second point I want to make is that they also mention that if something is wrong with the dog, such as pain or medical condition, it will attack. And I can think of a number of situations in which a small child might harm a pit bull by accident, when it's playing with it and it either steps on or falls on the pit bull. The third point I would like to make here is that the dog sends out signals before attacking. So it does attack, but it sends out signals beforehand. Well, what if the smaller child doesn't know how to read those signals and proceeds only to pet the dog, and then the dog suddenly attacks it? That child stands no chance, even if there are adults nearby. Like I keep mentioning, pit bulls were literally bred for power and agility. So now, I've hopefully convinced you that pit bulls can be dangerous, regardless of their upbringing. So let me share with you some statistics regarding attacks. I found a website, dogsbite.org, gathered all the attacks in 2015. And guess what? They reported that 82% of fatalities came from pit bulls. That means every 4 of 5 deaths from a dog were from the jaws of a pit bull. Now, to restate that I'm trying to convince you, I'm going to summarize the main points that I really want you to understand. A pit bull is dangerous, no matter how it was raised, because of the type of breed it is. The pit bull was a product of people trying to create the perfect gladiator. And second, the pit bulls, they do snap. And there is a trigger, and if a small child happens to trigger that, regardless of how it's raised, how it's brought up, it is going to attack that child. So what I really want you to take away from this is that maybe you'll be more careful when taking small children, or even yourself or your little dog, around a pit bull, because it was bred to be a fighter. Thank you for your time.